Let's do a little video on how I harvest my microgreens and how I package them up. I'm using a really cheap scale. I probably won't continue using it. I'm not crazy about it. And I was actually thinking that tonight I might get on Amazon and see what they have for scales, and if there's something I like, maybe I'll get 2 of them, and maybe I'll do a review on a scale, and maybe I'll give one away. And we'll see what happens. I'll give away to a viewer, a subscriber, something like that. I don't know yet. But anyways, let's just get into this. I always overstuff my containers anyways, so the containers these are 2-ounce containers. They're 16 fluid ounce. I get them at webstaurants.com, and so they're 16 fluid ounce containers, which is like perfect for 2 ounces of microgreens. So I've got some regular scissors. They've been sterilized in bleach. My hands have also been washed in bleach. I know that that's not exactly the preferred method. A lot of people like to use hydrogen peroxide, food grade, and I'll move to that at some point. I think the biggest reason for that is that it's better for the environment, but bleach is readily available and bleach works. So that's what I have. That's what I'm using. So all I do is I just take and I grab a nice sized chunk of these are radish. I think it's a red arrow. Just cut them clean. Put them in a container. These are actually perfect right now. They're not very wet. Sometimes I'll rub out a couple of the smaller ones so they'll fall out. It's been perfect weather, like I was saying. There's almost no humidity in the air at all today, and these would have had to be watered if I didn't harvest them today. So actually, perfect timing. And I'm willing to bet that is a healthy 2 ounces right there. The scale shut off. So I have to reset it. Been keeping an empty container right here so I can zero it out. Looks like the empty container is about 20 grams. So I'm actually quite a bit under, to my surprise. There's 28.35 grams in an ounce, and these are 2-ounce packages. I'm shooting for, we'll go with 30 grams per ounce, just to round it up, also make up for any problems the scale has if it's off a little bit. And so we'll shoot for 60 grams per container. Let's see what we get. A little bit more. It's 65 grams. Let's keep this party going. I don't think that scale's right. I think that's more than 2 ounces in that container, but we'll find out. We'll get a better scale. I've been using a cheap mechanical scale all this time, and I think it actually has been pretty accurate, but it's not really good enough. I'd like a better one. Nobody's ever complained. I actually don't even mark the label as being 2 ounces anymore. I used to, but I like to use those labels on my 1 ounce and 2 ounce packages, because sometimes I'll actually sell in 1 ounce packages, and I don't want to have to circle, that it's 2 ounces instead of 1 ounce, and I don't want to have to make different labels for the different size packages, and so I eliminated how much it weighs, and I figured if you're buying it by the package, when I talk to chefs and I talk to caterers and stuff, I let them know there's approximately 2 ounces in there. You know, they can see the container, they can feel how much it weighs, they're happy with it, nobody's ever complained. It's 54 grams. So again, this is going to be over. And all my labels are also marked as that they're not washed. And so I let people know that in advance. You don't really need to wash them in my opinion, but I think it's good for people to know that. You don't want to give the impression that they are washed by leaving that information off. Let people make their own judgment. They want to know how they're grown. They're grown in a greenhouse. They're not, you know, dirty. They're perfectly fine. But at least it says right on the package they know they're not washed. That sun is like right in my eyes. Probably not the best spot for the camera today. .63 grams, so we're a bit over. Just perfect. I'd rather be over than under. And see, this doesn't take very long. It's a pretty quick process to do this. For anybody that's curious, if you haven't already seen my other videos about how much I charge for the microgreens, or I have a whole video on just how profitable are microgreens, and my focus crop is radish. And you'll see in there what I charge for them. I charge $3 an ounce for them, so I charge $6 for these containers. Obviously, when I sell them to a store, I have to sell them for a little bit less than that, because you know they've got to have a markup. But for that reason, I prefer to sell to restaurants and caterers, but at the same time, they can be a little bit difficult with their scheduling or trying to get in there. They're really busy, and the stores have worked out good for me as a filler. You know, if you grow a lot of product and you just don't have the demand from restaurants and such for that week, I can just go drop a whole bunch off at the store. And sometimes they don't sell out, and so I'll just keep replacing the packages for free and bring more. Or sometimes I get there and they sold out and I can bring a whole bunch more. I'm actually harvesting 2 different kinds of radish today. These ones, like I said, are the red arrow. And I also have a tray of purple stem. I'm trying to think of the right word for them. They're not the purple Sango, those ones would be all purple. They're, these. I might have to pull out the seed packet to remember. So because of that, I way overstuffed this container because I didn't want to have to mix the red and the purple. Yeah, so that's 74 grams, so someone's getting a killer deal. So according to this, that was only 8 ounces, so half a pound for this tray of radish. The scale ain't right, it's more than that. And we also know that I overstuffed those a bit, so there's probably 2 extra ounces in there, so it's probably more like 10 ounces if you go by the scale. All right. Now for the purple ones. I love paper towels. I use them all the time for everything. And so I'll just wipe my scissors off. I just went from one crop to the other. It's not a big deal. This isn't sanitizing them, but it's cleanliness just for me. See these there. I don't know if you can see that in the camera there. They got a nice purple stem. It's kind of like a mix of some white stem and purple stem. I just like to have different kinds. The price of these isn't dramatically different than the Red Arrow. It's a little bit more, but the seed cost on radish is not a big deal. When you go to the purple Sango though, that is a big deal. And I actually don't even sell or grow that very often just because the seed was pretty expensive, and I didn't feel like I was getting a very good yield off it either. It definitely didn't grow like this. It was more sporadic. It was you know, like choppy. Maybe if you pre-soaked those seeds it'd be better. I don't really know, but yeah, I've only bought them once. I'll buy some more, but I think I only bought 4 ounces when I bought it because, like I said, it's a fairly expensive seed for radish. Gotta add a little bit more to that one. Well, I don't want to bore you with this, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up this tray. I'm going to grab some labels, and I'll show you my labels, and we'll put those on, and we'll conclude this video. Alright, apologize for the background noise. Neighbors running something, lawnmower, weed whacker, whatever. So, here I have my labels. My printer's been saying low on ink for quite a while. I run it till it's out. I have some backup, but so my last 2 labels, they're junk. No big deal. So you can see right here where it says the wash and enjoy. Maybe it's pretty clear, but you have to actually look at the label. You wouldn't notice it otherwise. There's not a lot on here. My website's on here, my email, my phone number. Find us on Facebook, and it's Radish. Here I've got just a cheap, well actually, before I get into this, these are the same thing as like an Avery label, but they're Staples brand, so they're a lot cheaper. And these are, I think about $33 for 1,000 of them. And then when you add on the ink and everything, and I went over this in a video before, I figured they probably cost me around 10 cents a label when it's all said and done. And that's probably pretty high. I don't think it's actually that much. But I'm going to move probably towards going with some other company that just prints them. Get like 1,000 radish, 1,000 of all the different kinds I grow a lot of. And that'll be good for a while, and it'll probably be a lot cheaper. I'll probably get them glossy. Just a regular stamp, date stamp, also from Staples. You just rotate it to get your different dates. Most of you probably know what a date stamp is. So I stamp them all out. So I'm going to be one label short. I have more. It's not a big deal. See the date, harvested. I've done 2 different methods on that. I've done a harvested by, and I've done a best by. And I struggled with the best by because depending on how they sit in a store shelf, if they put them out kind of far out on the shelf and maybe in a lot of light, they might go bad in less than a week. But if they stay kind of somewhat in the dark and they stay really nice and cold, they could be good for weeks. And so I didn't feel comfortable with that. And it's such a hard thing to say. It's best by. I mean, who knows? It's how long's your gallon of milk good for if you put it on the counter? It's only best by a certain amount of time if you take proper care of it. And so I thought harvested was just the most honest way to do it. You know, it's harvested here. It can. The downside of that is if it does sit on the shelf for a week, even if it still looks great and it's like perfect, nothing wrong with it, the harvested by date can hurt you a little bit. That they say, well, this is harvested a week ago. I want something that was harvested yesterday or the day before. So there's pros and cons on both sides of that. I went with the harvested by. I think that's the best method to go by. And so I got just peel them off, stick them on. And by the way, I ended up with 10 ounces of the purple stem radish. Their stem's a little bit thicker, so it makes sense. I still say there's a lot more here than what that new cheapo scale's telling me, but we'll find out when we get a better scale. I know that for certain farmers markets, and probably even to sell at the store, I don't know, no one's ever said anything to me, but from what I've seen online, I think you're supposed to actually have like a certified scale. I'm sure there's regulations about making sure that the product is exactly what you say it is or advertise it is. I don't know if selling by a container is even technically legal or not. I've kind of got a theory on that. If your customers are happy and you're not trying to screw anybody over or anything, I don't see the issue. If somebody says something to me, then I'll figure it out. Probably broadcasting on YouTube could get somebody to say something to you. We'll see. So you can see this doesn't take any time at all. Just about done. Super simple. That's it. We've got one package left, but I don't have the label out here with me for it. I'll label that later. That's it for this video, guys. Hope you liked it. Might have been a little bit more random than some of my other videos. I kind of danced around a little bit, talked a lot more than I normally would. If you like the idea about the scale, like I said, I'll look tonight, see what's up there. I'd probably go up to $50 for the scale. I don't really want to spend a ton of money. But like I said, maybe I'll do the giveaway. If you guys like that idea, let me know. I'll get one. I'll review it. Let you know the pros and cons of it. I'll put the link to it in the description. And if we'll see how I can do a random draw or something like that. Like I said, I've never done it before, but I'll give one away to one of the viewers. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed.